All right, welcome to this case study, how I took Xavier from injured and hopeless to fully restored athleticism in his first 30 days. Now you can see I have little to no knee pain, which is a blessing to say. I almost can't believe it. I feel like I'm my own doctor now. It's crazy. I can do so much more with such less pain. Now I'm moving, stretching, moving around like a kid again, jumping, doing shit. If you're looking for a training program that actually gets you more athletic while getting rid of pain and tightness, this video will be the best piece of free content for you across the entire internet. Additionally, if you are stuck fighting chronic pain and you're tired of foam rolling and needing to do mobility drills for 45 minutes every time you want to go play your sport, then this case study is going to save you hundreds of hours of scrolling to find the right program, thousands of days of doing the wrong exercises that make your problems worse, and a lifetime of pain and misery. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dennis Clifford, and in this document, I'm going to break down the exact step-by-step process that I use to help athletes translate the gains from the weight room into their sport. Because we've all been there before, hitting the benchmarks in the weight room and feeling no different or even worse while playing our sport. We start feeling tight and stiff after our workouts. We get stronger in the weight room, but feel imbalanced in our bodies and less athletic on the court or on the field. Our bench and squat go up, but we don't run faster or jump higher. We get pushed around because we are too busy worrying about which movements are going to hurt, and our bodies are constantly dealing with restrictions and dysfunction. Then we look into all the rehab techniques, and next thing you know, you have to warm up for 45 minutes just to do a movement that should and used to be pain-free. Here are the screenshots from when he first came to me versus when he told me he was done with the program. How it started. He hits me up on Instagram, say what up. He said, I'm trying to lock in with you, fully get my knee right after 2 surgeries. I've done all the injections, prescriptions. I need my body to feel healthy again naturally, familiar with all the movements and lifts. Said, heard that, hit me up when you need, and we got it going. Now, he hits me up. I have little to no knee pain, which I can say is a blessing. I almost can't believe it. He feels like he's his own doctor now. So now he's again moving like a kid and ready to go fulfill his dreams on the football field. Now, before I begin, please put away all distractions and pay very close attention to what I'm about to show you. If you lock into these concepts covered in this case study, you will be able to solve your own problem, investigating your body's dysfunction for life. That is unlimited returns. My suggestion for now is to put this video on 1.5 playback speed and just rip it. Pause for any part that you would like to take as many notes as possible. All right, let's dig in. Introduction. If you plan on getting your legs back to where they were 10 years ago while increasing the strength, power, and athleticism you need in your sport, then follow exactly what I'm about to show you. I know doctors and physical therapists have probably told you that they've done everything they can to help you and you're screwed. You may never fully heal from whatever ails you right now, like they told me and X, but pay very close attention and you will have the exact recovery process that you did not think was possible. Who is this video for? This is for you if you want to increase mobility and wash away restrictions that have you limping out of bed each morning. If you also care about escaping chronic pain long term, if you want a system that allows you to reach your full athletic potential without setbacks or hours of stretching and foam rolling. If you're afraid of being stiff and rigid for the rest of your life and paying for overpriced programs that do not work. If you're tired of the good old rehab performance hamster wheel, this is for you if you want peak performance without worrying about injury or setbacks in your training. Who is this not for? If you prioritize bodybuilding, weight room goals, squat PRs, all that good stuff, or people that feel the need to train hard without a care for the long-term repercussions. People that do not require real-life application to their training. Again, if you just want to look huge in the weight room and just walk around without your shirt on and just like limp out of a squat PR, that's great. This is not for people that are okay waking up in pain, walking around in pain, and living in pain. People that need and enjoy a 45-minute warm-up before doing anything athletic. People that care about squat and bench numbers, more than they care about running fast and jumping high. If you do not want to fully restore your natural mobility and athletic ability while learning how to escape chronic pain forever, this is not for you. If you like shortcuts, quick gimmicks, setbacks due to injury, and looking for magic exercises that never lead to long-term solutions, this is not for you. Now, Xavier's story. Freshman year, playing football at Eastern Carolina University, gets a meniscus surgery, still is feeling relatively young and athletic. Sophomore year, earned All-American accolades from league coaches, also had a right torn meniscus. Junior and senior year, he's the team's leading tackler while having the same knee issues and while they worsen. So now he gets cortisone shots, PRP at least once a week, stim treatment every day, all the conventional stuff, stretching, foam rolling. Now he gets arthroscopic surgery, pain pills. Now they diagnose him with osteoarthritis, patellar tendonitis. They tell him he should not continue playing. His NFL dreams are shattered by chronic pain and injuries that robbed him of his natural athleticism. Clearly, this dude is a natural freak. On our call, I told him that we were going to rebuild his body from the ground up, and if he was patient with this process, he would gradually feel his muscles turn back on while the pain would eventually turn completely off. Now, where most trainers go wrong, most trainers rush into restoring performance as soon as possible, going after the exercises that increase strength and power before they build the foundation. Why is that? I think it's because metrics are easily measured in the weight room. It's the easy way out. It's an easy sell for me to say that I can increase your squat by 50 pounds in the next so-and-so weeks, and that will increase your athleticism, because that is the paradigm that we have all been trained to work with. If a strength coach can add size to an athlete, add muscle to a body, and add weight to a squat PR, it's an easy way to say the coach did their job. So what happens when we get these metrics, when we reach these benchmarks at the cost of the athlete's long-term health and ability to play their sport? That is what happened to Xavier. That's what happened to me. And that is what has happened to thousands of other collegiate and professional athletes around the world. To optimize for your sport, you must optimize for movement in general. To optimize for movement, you must optimize for posture. And to optimize for posture, you must optimize for breath and your mind-body connection. We will get into all of this in this video. So, welcome to the dcliff rehab method for pain-free athleticism. This is a method that optimizes clean movement above all weight room metrics. And with movement, posture, and breath, recovery and regeneration is not only possible, it is literally inevitable. Now, let's get into his program. Once I onboarded Xavier, I explained the advantages we had of working virtually. So we wouldn't have to find time to meet in the gym. We could just go whenever he wanted to on his own time. Exercises were instructed on video, meaning he had access to all of the cues and principles that I did not have to repeat or maybe forget in real time. He would be onboarded into my online course, which is a series of presentations to help bring him along the learning process, equipping him with knowledge of the rehab process for life. So these are all the principles that we go over. It's in a 13-week course. He gets a 5 to 10 minute video once a week talking about all the rehab things like tension and compression, the myofascial system, everything that has to do with your health equation. On top of that, I could create a bunch of assets online for him to access anytime, like the nutrition plans, like the grocery list, sleep guides, breath guides, all of these things that help your overall health equation. He got complete sleep, nutrition, breath, mindfulness, hydration, rehab, and mobility support that is optimized for high-level athletes. He got a 91-day training program with sets, reps, tempos, and rest periods that were phased out and structured for pain-free athleticism. He also had 24/7 text and call support, as well as access to a private online community of other high-achieving athletes. So this program was everything that he needed to, one, get rid of the chronic pain, and two, then progress through his athletic journey to then realize his dreams on the football field. We needed to design a program that was optimized to reteach his body how to move. But first, we had to reteach his nervous system that it is okay to relax and adapt to these new postures and movements. Look at what he said just after the first day. I went through everything. Man, that shit was awesome. Very descriptive and organized. My body feels crazy loose and responsive, especially on the affected side. The breathing drills helped tremendously with getting me deeper into the movements and stretches. Found a lot of stiffness in my right foot when rolling on the outside. Then we went back and forth about the particulars, some details that will help him moving forward. Now, what did not work for him before? When Xavier came to me, one of the things he said was, I feel like I've tried everything. And I hear that a lot, which is a shame, but it's also why I'm doing what I'm doing and what makes me really freaking good at it. So he has tried cortisone shots, PRP, stim treatment every day, all the conventional rehab in the physio room and in the weight room. He was stretching, foam rolling, icing. He had the game ready. He had the Normatec. He had the Theragun. He got arthroscopic surgery. He was on pain pills. He tried the knees over toes method. He tried the GOTA method and all other mobility exercise that he saw on social media. And none of these things worked. For Xavier, these traditional methods yielded traditional results. So, what are his results looking like? He's got pain, he's frustrated, he's hopeless, limping out of bed each morning, never feeling fully rested and recovered, feeling stiff and rigid in his movements. These are all things that he expressed to me when we first started working together. Running slower and slower, even as he got stronger. So he is hitting those benchmarks in the weight room. And then when he goes to apply those, there's no translation between those two things. Feels disconnected from his body, running into setbacks every time he put consistent work in. So every time he went hard for a month or 2 months or 3 months in a row and started feeling like he was nearing his peak, he would witness a huge setback, like pain, like an injury. Now he's in the hospital at least twice a month, getting MRIs and x-rays, waiting in line, waiting in the ER, countless hours of warming up before every practice. So if you have 2 practices a day, that's 5 hours of training, but you got to add 2 hours of warming up on top of that. The difference between 5 hours a day and 7 hours a day is a big ass difference. Limping around after practice and games, now it's affecting the rest of his life, and he's also got a lifetime subscription to pills and bills. I was in a lot, direct quote, I was in a lot of pain physically and mentally. I had no explosion, pain in the bottom of my foot, and I was frustrated because that was going on for 2 years before I saw dcliff. 2 years. The problems with the current industry. We have habits that put us in pain and illness, like poor posture, sitting at a desk or in a car or on the couch all day, poor movement, poor eating, sleeping, etc. These habits over time cause our body to constantly make adjustments to feel safe in that present moment. That leads to compensations and overcompensations. When our body compensates for one thing, it causes pain, injury, and tightness in other parts of our body. So if our body makes an adjustment to feel safe in that moment, and that adjustment goes against our natural design, it is going to cause more adjustments. And those other adjustments affect the other parts of our body. When we see someone about these problems, they treat the symptoms and try to mask the problem without ever addressing the root cause. That's where you get people get shots, injections, pills, surgeries, joint replacements, and they still have to fight through the same pain every day. Listen, this same thing happened to me where I went through this exact process. I did the pills, I did the shots, I did everything Xavier did. And then after the surgery, I'm like, holy shit, I'm dealing with this same exact pain. Disclaimer. Doctors are absolutely necessary for acute pains and illnesses. So no, I am not trying to go against that industry. There are some things that we could not solve without these medical professionals. My position here is to show you that a lot can be done for chronic pain and illness. And that is all about your habits. The healthcare and medical industry makes money when you are hurt, in pain, unhealthy, and fragile. On the other hand, I make money by helping you see the other side and then I tell you to go live your life. So the D-Cliff method, full systems approach to your body with respect to our evolutionary genetic makeup, the original biomechanics, right? So I'm not just out here parading myself as a biomechanics expert. I am looking at how we were designed to walk, run, and throw, and then I am trying to implement those into things that translate into your movement on your sport. A deep understanding of other biomechanical principles, such as fascia and physical forces that act upon the body, mainly tension and compression. So, the balance of those tension and compression in your body is going to help you understand the rehab process. How integration connects all moving parts of the body with respect to force creation and force absorption. So everything as a system is working with tension and compression, and it's also working together to move your body. If you want to create force, or on the landing, or every time you hit the ground, it's absorbing that force as one system. If that system breaks up or has kinks in the chain or traffic jams, one part of your body is going to experience all that force. If that's your knee and it is experiencing more force than it was biologically designed to handle, then that knee over time is going to experience a lot of pain. Pain is just your body's way of telling you, this shit is messed up. Like I was not made to handle this much pressure. Trigger point release methods such as self-myofascial release, SMR, and active release techniques, ART, specific to myofascial lines in the body. This is how we get rid of those traffic jams. Breathing techniques for parasympathetic activation and sympathetic suppression. So a lot of the times, what we do leads to fight or flight, which is the sympathetic nervous response. A lot of our breathing techniques and a lot of the things that we talk about is getting your body to calm back down, because a lot of times we see today, athletes don't know how to do that. And that prolongs the recovery process. That will keep you in pain longer. It's all bad. Breath work, other breath work techniques for postural reconstruction, mastering the kinetic chain, especially the foot to glute myofascial highway, phase potentiation specific to the rehab process. How do we progress over time in the rehab process? It's not like a regular training program. Understanding pain and its psychological effects on the mind and the body, so that we can use those principles to master the art of movement, rehab, and recovery. The said principle as it relates to foundational human movement patterns, walking, running, and throwing, movement pillars like gait pattern sequencing, and the use of sling systems like the anterior oblique system and the posterior oblique system. These are other examples of how the entire body is connected. And if you use it as one system, you will be more athletic and pain-free. Explosiveness training, optimizing your VO2 max, plyo ability, and power in sports-specific movements, and then a holistic approach to health. Viewing every detail as a part of your overall health equation that can help or hurt the product of that equation, which is you. Now, for Xavier, like many others, the D-Cliff method yielded D-Cliff-like results. He is now more athletic than he has ever been. He is faster, stronger, and no longer held back by pain and injury. Fully restored mobility with full usage of back into his feet, ankles, knees, and hips, all of which gave him problems before. He can now get out of bed pain-free. I mean, need I say more? No longer worried about joint pain for life, because he knows now he has the skill set. He knows how to take care of his body forever. Feels reconnected with his body, more efficient in all of his movements. He is no longer stiff or rigid while changing directions. He feels like he can work out forever without worrying about setbacks or injury. He feels free to just move without long warm-ups. The biggest improvement for me is just the things that people take advantage of, like walking up the stairs or even just putting pressure on your legs and feet. These are things that affected his life before the program. My knee doesn't hurt. I want to dance now. I don't mind walking the dog. And overall, I'm just more happy. These are things that Xavier said when leaving the program. So what exactly is the D-Cliff process of athletic restoration? Phase 1, you have to release and relieve your body of tension. We wouldn't be able to add muscle to a system that doesn't work. If you have a system that is creating dysfunction, that you have a system that is creating problems for you, you don't want to add power into that system. So phase one is to correct his posture and make sure his body is getting rid of all of those traffic jams. So using the lacrosse ball and the other myofascial release techniques, we used the first 2 weeks to get his body feeling fluid again. All of these videos are on my YouTube. If you guys want to check it out, just type in SMR. You'll have 100 options. It was very important that Xavier let these adaptations take place. So we calibrated a schedule that worked with him so that he's not still in the overworking phase of we need to trigger the parasympathetic nervous response. So when people get excited about the program, they always want to go hard as shit and go 2-a-days and then super excited with the results. In phase one, we need to make sure that we are calibrating the schedule and going at a pace that allows us to have long-term results. He did not rush the process. He took his time and didn't go crazy in the weight room yet. I told him, if you're starving for a workout, you go walk more, as long as it does not cause excess pain and tension in the body, because phase one is getting your body and mind to feel good and relax. It is a step back so that you can take 2 steps forward. Only then could we solve those issues. And as you could see, even after the first 1 and 2 weeks, he was already moving around like a different person. I'm realizing how simple all the problems I used to have were to fix. This stuff is simple. My right leg is slowly starting to become my good leg again, and I'm still having a hard time trusting how good it feels. That's crazy. I'm questioning how the hell I was playing football in pain like that for so long. Like this is wild. The results you see just in the first 2 weeks is incomparable to the entire system that you are used to. The entire framework that you have been programmed to think about the weight room, about recovery, about all these tools that you so-called need. It is simple on the other side of that, and you get better results. Now we were ready for phase two. When you calm the nervous system and loosen up some of the fascia, you must replace that tension and put it in the correct places. If you don't, your body will just compensate the way it always does, and we will return to square one as soon as we start moving and or training. A good example of this is you get a massage today, you feel good for the rest of the day, and then 2 days later, you feel like you need a massage again. That massage released your body of a lot of tension, and your body did not replace that tension. So what is it going to do? It's going to get into the same compensation patterns that it always gets into because of your poor posture, because of your poor habits. Then it replaces that tension with the same compensation, and you're back needing another massage. So after phase one, the first 2 weeks, phase two was about recalibrating Xavier's posture to ensure good regenerative mechanics. When you restore your posture, your body goes into regeneration mode instead of degeneration mode. If you stay in degeneration mode because of poor posture, you then start losing cartilage, and then doctors tell you that you have arthritis, and then they say there's some bone-on-bone action grinding away at your joints, and then you need a joint replacement, or you need arthroscopic surgery, or just pain pills, or any of that stuff. Posture points that we emphasized: a lateral hip shift, the pelvic tilt, flared rib cage, and tight rounded shoulders. Also, poor internal rotation of his thigh muscles, of his thighs, and then flat turned out feet. All things that are common amongst athletes that prioritize weight room numbers, because at a certain point you have stressed and loaded your body under a weight to the point where it had to do whatever it takes to get the weight back up. So perfect example is the squat. There is, when you are deep into a squat, especially like the PR numbers, when you get up to your 100% max, your body is now just in all of those compensations, making sure that it can get that weight back up with whatever it takes. So that whatever it takes part is your body doing things that will keep it safe in the short term with no awareness of what can happen long term. Similar to our fight or flight response. It is going to figure it out in that split second, and it does not care what happens later on. The good thing about this laundry list of problems is that these things are part of one system and they are always connected. So if we focused on the system as a whole and rebuilding his foundation, his diaphragm and his deep core muscles, all these symptoms would subside, and they did. As a part of his daily routine, he had posture recalibration chores that took him little to no effort to do, but this habit helped him reconnect to his breath and ensured the changes were making permanent, right? So when you connect to your breath is your default, and those changes become your default settings. The breath is the essence of life. That way you don't have to think about just holding yourself in a good posture all day. The way you breathe will activate that mechanism. Now, around the 4 to 5 week mark, we saw huge progress with his posture and started progressively overloading his entire body, prepping it for the functional movement and athleticism. So he went to the field earlier than he should have, and he was just so excited to move around and had little to no pain for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's going to happen is people get overzealous because 2 years he was fighting this pain, and now all of a sudden, after 4 weeks, it's almost gone. And he's just like, holy shit, I got to go like test drive this new shit. No cap. Today just gave me the confidence I needed. Nobody out there could mess with me once it was time to get into the real football stuff. So he solved this problem, and now he's able to actually put all of his mental effort into football. And that's what you should be able to do as an athlete. What hurts us is when we have these restrictions in our mind and our body. I'm out there on the court just thinking about what movements are going to hurt my knee. Oh shit, that hurt. Like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm no longer thinking about basketball stuff. So now we were ready to move on to phase 3, the good stuff. This is the stuff you see people post about all the time online, ways to get bigger, faster, stronger. The problem is, as we've discussed, most trainers don't know what it feels like to do their own freaking program. They stuck their head in a couple of books, got some certifications, put that shit in their profile, and they have never truly understood the application of their training theories. So as a result of that, most trainers think it's okay to skip phase 1 and phase 2 and then build this peak athleticism on a shitty foundation. Again, it's an easy sell if you only track those weight room numbers and never follow up on how an athlete feels or moves in their sport long term. So if I promise you I'm going to increase your squat by 50 pounds and some literature says it's definitely possible and it's proven to be better for athletes or whatever shit that they be making up, then I can do that for you in 8 weeks and then send you on your way. Meanwhile, in your head, you're like, oh shit, like my knees are kind of hurting, like my lower back is stiff as shit. Like, how do I return to my sport? Me, on the other hand, I'm back here like I did my job. I did it perfect. I delivered on exactly what I said I would do. And I can just blame the athlete to say, oh shit, if you're in pain, like you just might not be built for this shit. So now we're ready for phase 3, which is the functional movement phase. By the 8-week mark, we were about at 80 to 90% capacity. He was feeling a lot better, and he was feeling a lot better than he had felt in all of his college years, even with access to the best training staff and doctors in the country. Think about that. That is crazy. We used this last phase to increase power, explosiveness, and cardio capacity that he'd obviously need to return to the football field. I mean, I understand football is a heavy contact sport, so you need powerful movements. We kept up with some of his chores and the other things that made him recover faster and improve his baseline because we wanted to increase the load and the volume of his training without compromising how healthy and resilient his body had now become. So at this point, he had gathered the skills from phases 1, 2, and 3 and could now train whatever way he wanted to, or whatever way a coach wants him to train at the next level, which is low-key the most important part of this process. If he makes a professional football team in the next couple of weeks, he then has to squat, he then has to deadlift, sprint, drill, hit people, practice when he doesn't want to. And he can do all of those things now because he understands how to use his body functionally, build resilience through progressive overload, and recovery even after days that push him past his current threshold. So now Xavier is pain-free, resilient, and more athletic than he has ever been, and is now on the way for and now he is on his way to be trying out for XFL and NFL teams as we speak. After years of people and doctors telling him he would no longer be able to play. I'm going ham right now. So the summary, all you have to do, return to a healthy baseline, phase 1. Improve what that baseline is, phase 2. Build on that foundation in a functional way, a way that respects how your body was designed to move. And if you stay consistent and realize that 1% better every day yields much more results than trying to PR in the weight room a couple times a week, you will understand that this is a process. And in order to change the results, you must change your inputs. The reason you are watching this video right now is because you are upset with the results, which means the inputs must change. Now the dcliff inputs: fluid regulation, circulation, energy flow, and trigger point release. You'll get that from the SMR, 1-minute foam rolling, and the way we walk. Breathing exercises and breathing mechanics. So tongue posture, pelvic floor activation, and learning how to pressurize your abdominal cavity, not just belly breathing and collapsing all of those deep core muscles that actually helped us stand up. Mindfulness exercises, stress management, and dealing with pain, understanding that every injury and chronic condition is psychosomatic, and restoring your mind is critical for an optimal recovery process. Postural restoration, connect with your breath for those default settings, understand rehab concepts like tension versus compression, isolation versus integration, and the myofascial system and soft tissue repair. Incorporate holistic health practices like sleep rhythm, nutrition basics, grounding and light exposure, and overall wellness and regeneration. If you do these things and apply the standing personal training concepts like the SAID principle and the principle of progressive overload, you can design your own program and gradually increase the stress inputs like your exercise selection, sets, reps, tempo, rest period, load, etc. And over an 8 to 16 week cycle, you should start seeing life-changing results. If you stick to this blueprint, the results are guaranteed. If you do this, you'll be able to wake up pain-free within the first week minimum. Then you can be able to build the foundation necessary for pain-free athleticism, just like Xavier did. Then you will be able to run faster, jump higher, and never be limited by pain again. I cannot go over everything right now. That would require me talking my ass off for the next 3 hours, and we simply do not have time for that. So I tried to take the most vital information and give it to you guys here. So what now? You have a few options here. One, you can continue what you've been doing so far, scrolling through Instagram, trying to find a magic exercise and hoping something in your life magically changes until you either run out of willpower completely or you experience a miracle. If you just watch this video all the way through, I'm guessing you're tired of this option. So option number 2, you can mirror this exact process that I just laid out for you in this case study, follow it word for word, and with some trial and error relating to the specifics, you can no doubt see results. It might take longer than expected, and the types and scale of the results will naturally vary, but go ahead and design your own program and check out my YouTube for any exercise ideas that you might have or might need, along with the video instruction and the other free content that I post on my Instagram at dcliff24. Option 3, you can work with me directly. Follow this precise step-by-step instructions that we walk through together and guarantee yourself pain-free athleticism and abundant long-term movement ability in the next 90 days. Go ahead and ask yourself right now, what are these results worth to you? Because you truly do get what you pay for. If you're in this for the free material, the $0 material, you will get $0 like results. If you are expecting to pay a guy $100 a month, you should be expecting $100 results. So do you want to continue guessing and watching hours of YouTube videos, wasting your time away, or do you want to get this thing done right now and have guaranteed results that last you forever? If you started right now, you would either feel better than you have ever felt within the next 2 to 4 weeks and you would be on your way to an athletic confidence in the weight room and in your sport that will have you literally and spiritually dunking on 20-year-olds for as long as you want. And if you keep hesitating, who knows how long you'll be stuck in the rehab, prehab, performance, injury, hamster wheel. And who knows if the workouts you'd be doing are moving the needle forward or just creating more and more dysfunction, more and more problems that you have to deal with later. Signs that you need to work with me: you've tried other programs, injections, surgeries, mobility routines, and you've kept doing the same workout routine that you had in high school, and it has failed. If you feel like you always get hurt right as you're about to reach the summit of your potential, if you're somebody that says, I was in the best shape of my life, then I got hurt and I had to rest or I had to take 2 to 3 months off. If you're someone that works hard, is diligent and consistent, but just haven't seen the results that you feel you deserve, if any of these resonate with you, you need to apply for a call in the link below this video. If this is the right fit, here's the exact steps that I will bring you through. We will get on a call, identify your key areas of weakness and dysfunction, and dial in on a plan to address those areas while building a high-powered foundation. We get you onboarded, set you up with a couple of the physical products that will get you going, and starting with the tension release and the fluid regulation. We schedule a weekly call to touch base and make sure that you are held accountable to a schedule that is optimized for your long-term growth. At this point, the results are truly guaranteed. You fill out the intake form to make sure that we've covered all of our bases necessary for this transformation. You enter phase 1, which starts with the goal refinement presentation, the phase 1 breakdown presentation, and the rehab number 1, what is pain presentation. Throughout the 13 weeks, aside from giving you a program that will revolutionize your physical athleticism, we will also calibrate a sleep routine, a nutrition plan, and other health practices that are all encompassing, so that we attack this transformation from all angles to get you the results that you need as fast and as easy as possible. Additionally, you have direct access to me 24/7, as well as a network of other high-functioning athletes in the dclifftraining community. After 13 weeks, you leave the program with all the knowledge and skills that I have accumulated over a 10-year professional basketball career and personal training research and application. In other words, you get my life's work in the next 3 months. The goal is to get you out of pain and into your peak performance with no setbacks in the next 90 days. If you follow this game plan to a T, it will absolutely happen. And this is how sure I am, because I've done this before. I personally guarantee that if you do everything you're supposed to do and still don't like the program in the next 4 weeks, you get your money back, no questions asked. And if you don't feel better than you have ever felt, pain-free, while running faster and jumping higher, by the time the 90 days hits, I will continue working with you for free. Now, if you're exhausted of trying to figure out everything for yourself, of trying other mediocre programs or exercises on the fly that don't get you anywhere long term, if you are tired of working hard and not getting the results that you deserve and not having a proven system that is specifically designed for athletic longevity and unlimited work capacity, pain-free, you can book a call with me today to add pain-free athleticism into your life by clicking the link below this video. And for those of you that are still on the fence about this, please enjoy the following client testimonials.